Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to be presenting another video to you today. Hopefully this one will be very informative. I meant to record this on September 11th because it all ties together with the death of the Queen and everything else. But this is September 14th. Been a little busy, so didn't quite get to record it on the 11th as I wanted to. In 2014, many of you remember a Malaysian airliner supposedly disappeared, and ultimately, I know now that I now know the truth, and the governments of the world knew the truth within hours of it happening. But the media was never told, and we were never told because, well, we're going to find out why. Okay? So this is called the MH370 cover-up. Massive cover-up. 238 innocent people died because of politics. And why I don't do government, why I don't do religion should become very obvious during this presentation. On March the 8th, 2014, at about 12:41 a.m. local time in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur Airport in Malaysia. Its destination was Beijing, China. It never made it, and very soon was reported missing. And, like everyone else at the time, we were all thinking, well, they don't disappear. Even if it's over the ocean, they're going to find wreckage. They're going to find ultimately the fuselage and everything and the recorders, and we'll know what happened, because that's the way these things go. Things that big don't disappear, and militaries are all over the oceans. Submarines. You can find a jet. I don't care where it goes down. You're going to find it. As we all know, that's not what happened. It remained a mystery. This thing just disappeared, right? This thing went for Beijing, and it went away, right? I try so hard to stay out of politics and religion, but unfortunately, this is where we are, because most of you still vote, and most of you still believe in your religion. And that's fine. If that's what you want to do, if you still want to believe in these control systems, which is all they are, is control systems, if you want to still believe in them, good for you. It's taking us down the road to doom, all right? Belief in all this stuff is killing the planet, wiping us out, and it's not going to be long, okay? When you see carjackings up 30–40% in major cities, crime up 30% in some cities that used to be pretty peaceful, yeah, the fabric of humanity is coming apart. I have to deal with this stuff every day. Religion, politics, whatever. It's what this whole story is about, and you were never told the truth, and every government on this earth covered it up. Not just the United States, not just Malaysia, not just Australia, because guess what? If they knew, all the governments knew. Russia knew, Britain knew, France knew, Germany knew. Everybody knew what happened. But you didn't, because they weren't going to let the media know. They weren't going to tell anybody the truth, because they can't tell the truth. They have no way to tell the truth, because it's against their whole narrative. They're just liars. That's what they are. Pilot Shah, Zahiri Ahmad Shah, about 38 minutes after takeoff, the last communication between the plane and Kuala Lumpur Airport, ATC, Air Traffic Control at Kuala Lumpur, was lost. Or they had the last transmission, then it was turned off. He turned off everything on the plane so that the civilian radar could not see him anymore. He went, poof, he disappeared to civilian radar. Not military radar, the civilian radar, okay? The jet does about a 170-degree turn, almost a complete U-turn, and heads back over the Malaysian peninsula. which is pretty narrow at 500 miles an hour, 400 miles an hour. As soon as he gets over Peninsula, he goes around an island, makes a right-hand turn, kind of almost a 70 or 80 degree, 70, 80 degree turn around Penang Island and heads west-northwest up along the coast of Sumatra. The entire time this was happening, the Malaysian military was tracking the jet on their radar. And there's no way that they were the only military that could see it, because obviously we have ships and subs everywhere. I mean, and planes. More than one government's military was tracking this guy, flying this plane, all right? Now, if you all remember, Payne Stewart's plane, the Golfer, back in 1999, took off from Orlando, a Learjet, and apparently they suffered decompression, and they all died. It's called hypoxia. When you lose oxygen, it's called hypoxia. You die. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. But what did the American military do when we knew a plane was up there that wasn't responding and was just flying along, wasn't at the proper altitude, and wasn't responding? What did we do? We scrambled fighter jets up there to see what's going on, and we followed that plane. Unfortunately, they were all already dead, but we followed the plane until it crashed in South Dakota. And unfortunately, as I said, Payne Stewart and 5 other people in that plane, two-man crew and 3 other people that were supposed to be going to a golf tournament in Texas from Orlando, perished. Why didn't the Malaysian military do that? They got a jet full of people, 238 people, that's not responding. It's way off course. It's going literally in all kinds of different directions from where it's supposed to be, and they don't even scramble jets to go up and make sure that everything's okay or see what's going on. That in itself is a big red flag, isn't it? Okay? So the pilot, Captain Zahiri Ahmad Shah, was very involved in politics and a huge detractor and foe of the government, the current political party that was in power, Prime Minister Najib's government. The pilot's distant relative, Anwar Ibrahim, was the opposition leader in the Malaysian parliament. And his party had recently garnered more votes in an election than the ruling party. But because of the way the government structured there, they didn't just take over. They didn't walk in and take over the Prime Minister's office. The people liked them more. They wanted the opposition party to be in power. But because of the way the structure is in Malaysia, they just weren't able to take over the government. The day before this flight took off, Anwar Ibrahim, relative of the pilot, Captain Shah, and the leader of the opposition party, and Captain Shah loved his relative, and he also was very, very passionate about the party. The day before this flight took off, March 7th, 2014, Ibrahim was convicted of sodomy by the government and basically jailed. Captain Shah was distraught, okay, understandably. So now he's flying this jet full of people, nowhere near where it's supposed to go. The Malaysian military doesn't scramble jets to go up and check it out, which you're going to find out why. About 3:12 a.m., coming down again on the west coast of Sumatra, the plane goes into a 22-minute holding pattern, like if you're waiting for clearance to land, circling. But there's no airport underneath them. The only thing underneath them is water. Many people who know far more than me about this situation, this horrible incident, murder, you're going to find out, said that there must have been negotiations taking place during that time. His relative and political hero has been arrested. He's furious. So what's going on? Well, he's got 238 innocent people, and he's trying to leverage, in my opinion, and again, I could be wrong, but a lot of other people will back me up that know way more than me. He was attempting to blackmail the government. I got 238 people here, a bunch from China, all different nations, even Australia is included, and the US. And if you don't release Ibrahim or secede power or both, I'm going to kill them all. I 100% believe that's what happened, and again, so do many others. Regardless of what went on during this time, the Malaysian government botched this one big time, and in the end, the US and Australia failed us as well as every major government on the planet, because they know what happened, and they knew right away what was happening. Probably within, I'm going to say the Australians probably knew within a day, and Obama probably knew within hours, maybe within minutes. Okay. Prime Minister of Australia at the time, Tony Abbott, said that within a week, the Malaysian government indicated him that they believed this was mass murder-suicide committed by the pilot. A woman named Donica Weeks, an Australian, she was the wife of one of the Australian victims, said that she met with the wife of Prime Minister Najib of Malaysia several weeks later at a memorial service in Australia, and Prime Minister Najib's wife indicated to her that she believed the pilot took the plane. Now, the president at the time, President Obama, obviously he kept telling us how peaceful the Muslims were, how they're a religion of peace, claiming to be a Christian, but constantly making excuses for behavior of Islamists, okay? He was very friendly with Najib. He's in a sticky situation because he's getting ready to go to Malaysia in April. He's got a balancing act to pull off because the people supported the opposition, Ibrahim's party, the guy who was arrested, not the prime minister. By this time, everyone except us knows what happened. It's my belief, again, 100%, that the President of the United States was not going to let this out, and the whole world was not going to let it out, because we couldn't have the Muslims look bad again, you know, because they're peaceful, and I don't do religion, okay? This is about the cover-up. It's not about Christianity versus Islam or Judaism. It's not about that. They were afraid to tell the truth. A distraught, politically active Muslim had killed 238 innocent people for political reasons, not the message our pro-Muslim president wanted to put out. To this day, the story is that the fuselage, parts of the wings, etc., it's not a story, they have been found in places like Madagascar. The fuselage has never been found. The voice and data recorders have never been found. This is what they tell you. Ironically, one of the people who found many pieces of debris on Madagascar, on the beach, was told to stop looking. He got a message saying, stop looking for debris from this plane, or you're going to leave Madagascar in a box. Okay, this dude was just literally, he's a rich dude. He just can do whatever he wants, and he was out there. He was interested, so he's out there collecting chunks of stuff that is washed up because of the currents. And the plane was nowhere near Madagascar when it hit the water. But he gets threatened. They say, hey man, you better get out of here and stop looking for parts of this plane or we're going to kill you. Now, an Australian by the name of Ian Higgins, E-A-N Higgins, wrote a book called The Hunt for MH370. I recommend this book highly. The Hunt for MH370 by Ian, E-A-N Higgins. He published this book in February 2019. In 2020, Ian Higgins disappeared, and he's never been heard from since. So now we have 239 dead or missing people based on this incident. One's just an author. I know in my heart that MH370 was found along with the recorders within months of this incident, maybe within weeks. These pieces of equipment were more than likely destroyed, thus continuing this sickening massive cover-up. And to all those who perpetrated this cowardly act of misinformation, I say that you are no better than the man who did this awful deed. And I want you, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama, Prime Minister Tony Abbott, former Prime Minister Tony Abbott of Australia, and former Prime Minister Najib of Malaysia, I'm calling you out, man. I'm calling you out because you lied to the whole 7 billion people were fed a line of BS to protect the reputation, or lack thereof, of the Muslim faith, and to not scare anyone anymore about maybe flying to Malaysia or flying in a country that has Muslim pilots and political issues. Calling you guys out, all 3 of you, and for that matter, the governments of the entire world at the time who covered this up. It's sickening that you let 7 billion people sit here and go, oh, what happened to the plane? It just disappeared. Yeah. This is a very brief presentation. I hope it's given you some information that most of you did not have. And I thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I'm going to keep putting these kinds of videos out, trying to expose the truth of what is government, which is control, mind control, control of people, which is not natural, and religion, which is mind control, 100%. Again, they're no better than the guy who killed the people because they let 7 billion people twist in the wind and not know what's going on. And there's only a few people now, including myself, who've actually told you what happened on that horrible day. And hopefully those people did die of hypoxia. Hopefully he depressurized the cabin long before they hit the water, and they didn't have to go through that terror of the dive, of running out of fuel and smashing into the Indian Ocean off the southwest coast of Australia, which is where this plane ended up. They didn't find it. Bullshit. Bullshit. They found it. They lie. Thank you for watching.